Welcome to Knafs at Night. I'm Ben, and today I have a special guest who is here.
Hey guys, I'm Zach in the Wild, work sharp in the wild, and I'm here to talk about my new knife, the Yonder.
And he's brought curios from the road, including part of a lobster pot from Maine. We're going to talk about all that and everything on the desk. Right now, let's get into the news. In the news this week, we have the news sitting here with us. Zach, you just won an award, a prestigious award.
Yeah, which was kind of a big deal.
For a new knife that you have coming out.
Yeah.
Tell us what the award was and what the knife is.
Yeah, so the award was Best Budget Buy of 2024.
I love how you had to think about that.
Yeah, I had to make sure I got the wording just right. Honestly, kind of came out of left field. But the knife is with Civivi and We, because they make, as you know, a stellar knife. And the knife is called the Yonder. This is my first ever knife design, which I'm really excited about.
Where was this design born? Might I ask?
All right, well, you know, born of years of carrying knives and being interested in knives, but then a good friend of mine locked me in a cabin in Montana and put my arm behind my back and made me sit down and draw out a knife and come up with some ideas.
So here's what happened, guys. Last year, we were out filming the Lulu in Cook City, Montana.
Great time.
Really good time.
Yeah.
And we're like out shooting around the campfire doing our thing. And I'm like, Zach, why don't you design a knife? And he's like, no. And I was like, dude, you could totally design a knife. People would be excited about it. People would be stoked. And so we spent the day filming the Lulu. And then that night, Zach's like, I gotta hit the road. And I'm like, well, what if you stayed one more night and you designed a knife? And so literally I sat there with his notebook and I'm like, okay, tell me more. Now you draw. Now I draw.
Yep. And the knife,
amazing.
The knife that we ended up on paper wasn't quite what we've got here.
Yeah.
As you know, as things evolve, right? But that definitely was the thing. That was the thing that got it going. Was a very good friend of mine, couple good friends of mine, sitting me down and forcing my hand, which was great. And the mumbling was because, like there are so many great knives out there, right? And like I don't know, it's just that whole thing. Like you throw your ring in the hat, like it just feels more.
Your ring in the hat, or your hat in the ring.
Or your hat in the ring, yeah, exactly.
I love it. Okay, here's my one question about the Yonder.
Yeah.
I've got a little Torx tool here, and I am curious because your pocket clip looks like my pocket clip on the Banter series.
Yeah, it very well could be.
And so I'm going to take half a second here, and let's find out if they're compatible.
I love it. Let's do it.
We're going to do this in real time. While we're doing this in real time, tell us features of the Yonder.
So the Yonder, that you're probably going to steal from me momentarily, we got a 14C28N blade, obviously kind of that reverse Tonto style. I wanted it to be as thick behind the edge as we could get it, but still be slicey. Yeah. So you've got a bit of a belly, you've got a nice tip. It's thick enough that you could definitely like get gnarly with it. As you can see from mine, I'm definitely getting gnarly with it.
I like this showed up as if it had been on the road for...
Yeah.
At least a month and a half.
Yeah, at least a month and a half. That's over 11,000 miles of driving and about 200 miles on trail. Most of it in the south and the northeast, hence the blue jean dye on the micarta. And this particular one comes in micarta, but you guys know we Civivi, they're going to do it in a bunch of different flavors. This one, out of all the ones I've seen, that one's my favorite. I love it. The micarta with the black blade.
Dude, I think this clip is the exact same clip as the Banter.
I love it. I love it.
So this is
makes sense. Same factory, right?
same fun feature here. So this is the Civivi Baby Banter.
Yep.
It comes with the longer clip.
Yep.
And the little short boy is the exact same dimensions as the Banter. So if you want a short boy clip, get the Yonder.
Get a Yonder.
Buy a Yonder and flip it. I love it. Dude, it's a big deal. It's really cool to see you finally do it. Like,
thank you. Yeah.
That to me is like maybe even cooler than the knife itself. Like I recognize you have to have the knife for it to be cool.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're like, hey, let's go. Yeah. Let's make it happen. So.
Yeah. No, I'm really excited about it. And the other thing with the Yonder is again, like throwing your hat in the ring, right? Yeah. Like there are a handful of knives that I have used, or types of knives or sizes of knives that I've used that just I'm not seeing. So that was the thing is like I had it in me, but I just needed somebody to pry it out of me, basically.
Okay, here's another crazy thing. So the people that love Banters have been clamoring for a clip filler.
Right.
And I'm curious to myself here. I'm curious. We're doing this live,
I love
folks.
it. I love it.
I've just told them, it's not happening.
Right.
Oh, and you know what?
Is it not?
It might.
It might go, dude.
It
might go.
That's amazing.
I'm definitely a clip filler guy. Because like my pockets are always so dirty that like I want the space filled so I don't fill it with gunk. Totally. Right.
I think that might fit on the Banter series.
That's amazing.
I'm not going to pull this one off at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave that as a mystery.
There we go. We'll figure it out. One of these days we'll figure it out.
I love it. Okay. I wanted to address something within the design space now that we've taken all of these apart. I overheard secondhand a conversation from a well-known designer who said, I don't like that there are all these YouTubers making knives and designing knives. And I would love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments. But I would love to have a conversation with you about, you got Swags, you got Metal Complex, you got Knafs knives, you got me.
Yep.
Right? In fact, the feedback was specifically about the Baby Banter. This well-known designer said, it's an ugly knife. And I'd be like, well, it's a functional knife, right?
Yeah.
But the conversation was, all of these YouTubers are making knives, designing them. How do you feel about that, Zach? Do you think that these long-term designers should be griping about it? Or do you think, open market capitalism, let's go? Because there's kind of like this prestigious, you got the American Bladesmith Society. Yep. You got these guys that went to design school.
Yep.
And then you got I don't know what you are, but I can speak for myself as being a hack.
Right.
Walking in and designing something and working with really talented engineers.
Yep.
Really talented back-end manufacturing.
Yep.
And coming out with it, this is a dang good knife.
It's a dang good knife. $58.
It's amazing.
It's a $58 knife. It's a dang good knife for $58.
It's amazing.
And not because my name's, I'd be saying that whoever made that knife. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So I guess what would be your response to that?
I don't know. I think it's really interesting. It's one of it probably if I really dive into why I was hesitant, right? That's probably part of it, right? I come from a trade background, right? I'm a journeyman carpenter, I'm a journeyman concrete specialist, right?
Yep.
And you put in your dues and then you get your little thing, right? And this doesn't make me a bladesmith.
No,
not
at all.
Not at all, right?
It doesn't even make you a knife maker.
It doesn't even make me a knife maker.
It makes you a knife designer.
Knife designer,
it's
which
important
is totally
to distinguish those.
Yeah, exactly. If I were to come out and be I'm making tomorrow, I'm making knives, right? I'm gonna tell you right now, I wouldn't make a good knife, right? It might look cool, but it ain't gonna be very good.
Maybe after you made 100.
Yeah, after 100, put in my dues, right?
Yep.
So I don't know. I think on the note of designing a knife, right? I think what's interesting is that YouTubers or people who've worked in the knife space for a long time, we have equity there. Yeah. The same that somebody who's a knife maker who then goes and makes something with an OE or makes something with a name like Savita or Wee or CRKT or whoever, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. They're definitely very different categories, but when the overlap comes to designing, I think it's about equity and insight. And I think that as guys that have handled,
literally
tens of thousands of knives, right?
Yep.
I've handled and talked about, you name a knife, I've probably handled and talked about it, right?
Yeah.
And used it. That's the other thing too, right? And actually put it to use. I think there's something to be said about that equity. Yeah. Right. So it comes down to equity, and I don't want to get in a pole match with anybody about it. Right?
No, but it's an interesting conversation because
Yeah.
I think there are people who literally went to school to design things, and maybe this goes back to the whole thought I've been saying. I've been saying this in a few episodes now. It's easier than ever to make a knife.
Yep.
It's harder than ever to sell a knife, and I think there are market factors for that. You've got all these makers of knives that are literally, I get an email probably once a week from an OEM.
Yep.
Could be in Spain, could be in China, could be in Italy, who's like, let's make a knife together. And I think what that tells me is, the design, yes, it matters, but it's that equity factor that you're talking about. Who made it and why should I buy it?
Yep. I think that's a big part of it. So for me personally, there are a couple knives in my collection. I have a lot of knives, right? I've been doing this for a long time. There are a couple knives in my collection that I have because they were given to me as gifts from friends.
Yeah.
Not knives I would ever own, right? I would never purchase or use, right? But most of my knives, it's and I say this, if you guys ever watch the channel, you guys have heard me say this a million times, the knife is what's the function and am I going to use it, right?
Yep.
And then the cherry on top is, right? Did the guy who make it or the people who made it, are they good people? Are they good? You know what I mean?
Totally.
And obviously if they're real bad people, I'm just not going to participate, right? But are they okay? That's a cherry on top of an already good design, a good knife.
Totally, totally. I love that insight. I would love to know what you guys think about this ongoing. I have an audience. I made a knife.
Yeah,
Is it
interesting?
Fair?
Is it fair? Fair is an interesting question.
Well, let's let the comments.
Yeah.
Percolate.
I like it.
We use the word percolate. Let's let the comments percolate. We'd love to know what your thoughts are because both of us are in this game of knife design at this point.
Yep.
And good, bad? What are your thoughts?
Yes.
Let's hear it in the comments. Now, Zach, a couple other things that I wanted to talk about. Rapid fire.
Yeah.
You've been on the road.
Yes.
for WorkSharp.
For WorkSharp, that's correct.
Give us the rundown of what you've been doing and what have you collected from the road.
All right, so rapid fire this thing. So I got an account on Instagram. It's called WorkSharp in the Wild. And what I'm doing is I'm running WorkSharp's Quest program. So what the Quest is, if you guys don't know, they've been doing it for I think it's the third year. I think it's the third year they've done Quest. Is all over the country, they're hiding these boxes. So these Pelican boxes, and what
they or you?
Yeah. So okay. So the way it started was they would send them out to people. Different people would hide them all over, and people would do the thing. This year they're like, hey, we've got a vehicle, a gas card, and some boxes. 35 boxes.
Did you salivate when you heard that?
Oh yeah, dude. I was like,
vehicle and gas card, like
yes.
You need to like,
and they were literally like, and it's up to you. Do what you want. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I'm down. So I'm hiding 35 of these things all over the country, literally all over the United States. Like I said, I've done over 11,000 miles. I think I'm closer to 13, but I don't want to
Can we sneak peek what's in the boxes?
Yeah. I have to be careful with one thing. So there is for sure a box near you, or there's going to be a box near you.
And some have been found.
Some have already been found. I think we're on like 4 boxes in out of 35, so there's a bunch around. So you get a little notebook inside there. Here, I'll turn around so you guys can see even better. You get the Pelican box, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
All of them come with some sort of a knife.
Yeah.
This one happens to have a CRKT knife. We have a bunch of partners. Knafs is one of the partners.
In fact, there's a card in here that says, dial this number, get more knives.
Yeah. So what you guys are seeing, this is just the taster that you find in the wild. Each box is about $700 to $1,000 of value.
It's
like
crazy.
When they send you everything from
because you had companies like me, you had like Big Eye put stuff in
Big
these,
Eye, Hitch and Timber, like there's so many, Smith Optics, like there's so many big names, you know.
So it's stickers, not just the box, it's like
a whole thing.
That's amazing.
And then Sharpener. And so that's about what your experience would be opening the box. But then you send the email, which is the card I hid because you guys can't see the code for this one. You send them the code, and then you get $700 to $1,000 a gear.
It's amazing.
It's really cool.
Shipped to your house for freezy.
Shipped to your house for freezy, and you're gonna get a rad adventure.
What if I live in Europe? Do I have to come here?
You have to come here.
Are you going to Europe, Zach?
This year you have to come here. Let's say that.
When does this end?
So this ends, I'm with WorkSharp until the beginning of September, maybe into October. So I'll have all 35 boxes in the ground.
I love it.
All over the continental United States, maybe Alaska.
I'm headed to Europe if you want me to take one.
Dude, maybe
I'm just throwing that out there.
Maybe we'll send one to Europe.
If you're in Europe and you want a box, let us know.
That'd be pretty cool. Let us know in the comments.
comments.
Now, to add on to that.
What have you found on the trail?
Exactly.
Like you've been everywhere.
Yeah. So I'll start with what makes these boxes even cooler off of the road as well.
Yeah.
This is a Burnley slingshot, Burnley shop towel. I also have a hat and a knife straight from Burnley's shop. So on the road, I'm going to my buddies in the knife world, and I'm adding to these boxes.
It's cool.
So I think the Burnley ad alone is like another $500.
It's amazing.
Yeah, we got custom knives, we got one-off knives, all sorts of rad stuff.
That's cool.
So that makes the box even cooler.
Yeah.
Not every box will get that, but a lot of them are going to get some special stuff. Yeah. And then, I mean, dude.
Hang on. Okay, so he went to the last Blockbuster.
Yes.
In the whole world.
Yeah, in Bend, Oregon, last Blockbuster.
Amazing.
On accident.
Yeah.
I ended up there. I was in Ohio, in Enon, Ohio, at like 2 in the morning, fueling up. Middle of nowhere, not a very big town from what I understand. Police officer gets a hold of me, and he's like, wait here, goes home, cuts a patch off of his duty shirt.
And gives it to me.
That's amazing. Which was super cool. I ended up at one of the oldest libraries in the United States. I'm a book guy, you know. Yeah. So the Providence Athenaeum, it was established in 1836, still going strong. Beautiful building. It may or may not be part of the Rhode Island Quest that will be coming out
I heard
soon.
it was. A little birdie told me it was.
It may or may not be. And then, we got things like, here, I'm going to save that one for last, because that one's extra special. I went and hung out with my buddies over at Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and there's a couple little things real quick. So
I love it.
TC over there, right?
Yep.
I don't know if you guys know this, but he's like a performer, like a legitimate, like riding horses, shooting guns, singing songs.
Yeah.
The guy's amazing. And
I think we need to roll in some TC footage.
Dude,
I always snag him at trade shows, and I make him sing.
Got to.
We'll roll that in here.
And so he invited us to a show with those talents.
And you got to see him riding a horse and singing.
Not riding horses, but singing, playing the guitar, and singing. It was incredible.
I want to see the horse.
Yeah, it was incredible.
I want to see TC on a horse.
And then while I was there, I also picked up a couple knives.
I love it.
And, Smoky Mountain Knife Works, they have a couple in-house brands.
Yep.
So this is a marbles knife. They're all very inexpensive, but man.
Look at that thing.
Look at that thing.
It's a Bowie.
How
It's a
could I
Bowie.
not? How could I not do that,
Yeah,
right?
that's amazing.
And then elephant's toe, like I love this pattern, whatever,
Yeah.
you know, they had some of those.
It's so big.
It's so big.
It's obscene.
And honestly, this Rough Rider brand, very budget, very affordable.
I love it.
And they like make a decent knife.
I love it.
So things like that, and then I think the last, well, I'm picking up books.
No, we got to save that.
Oh, we're gonna save
That's
that
for later. That's
for later. And then this is why I saved this one for last. So this, I'm picking up a couple treasures along the way. I'm moving fast.
Oh,
right?
we are watching you online, and you move incredibly fast.
Like I said, over 10,000 miles, closer to 13 probably. I've hiked about 200 miles, and this is in less than 2 months.
Crazy.
Less than 60 days. Like, I'm moving. So I don't have a lot of time to pick up things. However, this is from Maine. This is, I believe, part of a lobster cage, and this is a rope that has something to do with fishing off the coast of Maine. Maine has been on my list since I was 10 years old. So from
amazing.
about 10 to 17, I would order LL Bean catalogs. I've never owned anything with the LL Bean name on it. But I would order the catalogs and look at pictures of places with trees and water because I'm from Southern Nevada and I've never had that experience until I was an adult, of course. So when I got to Maine, pulling into Maine, like got kind of emotional.
Yeah.
Like I'll be on, like full transparency, got a little emotional even just pulling into the state. Did this beautiful hike on the coast and in the forest. That's where the box is going to be, Maine. It's going to be amazing. And so I had to get a memento from Maine. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do with all of these is I'm trying to make every one of these an adventure.
That's cool.
I like if you guys go out and chase this quest down, like I want you to like even if you don't find the box, I want you to walk away and be stoked.
Yeah,
you know what I
I
mean?
love that about it because like this channel, so many channels, so many people are talking about knives, and they're sitting there at a desk and talking about them.
Yeah.
And there's a part of me that dies inside because of what we do here. I'll be totally transparent on that. But because knives want to be taken places.
Yeah.
They want to go do things. They want to be out in the wild.
Yep.
And I love that you guys, Worksharp, are doing this because, like, look at these curios from the road, man. And granted, it's unique, right? You're working for a company, but, like, anybody could literally walk out and find a trash treasure on whatever coast you live on or whatever neighborhood you live in. So I don't know. I love this because knives need to be used. It's wonderful. Now, the other part of what Zach is doing is he brought his cool truck and he came to our sidewalk sale as well. So that's what's happening in the Knafs news. We're going to roll some B-roll footage into this. So you can just kind of see what was going on. We were slinging knives out in the parking lot.
Great time.
Somebody's got to do it. And we're on to the Moon Crew moment. First comes from a man named Eric Joyner. And Zach, we have a Facebook group called the Moon Crew.
I'm aware.
Are you in there?
I don't think I'm in there. Yeah, I don't know if I've been accepted.
Well, let me tell you about Eric's thing.
Okay.
Eric, he said, "Welp, it happened. I totally tried to buy a knife off Reddit Knife Swap, and the person took my money and has gone MIA. Lesson learned, I guess, but dang, it's annoying."
That's a bummer.
It's a bummer. Secondary knife sales. It's a tough one. You can eBay. You can get hosed over there, too. Bladebinge.com.
Bladebinge. Those dudes they're rad.
Yeah. I mean, it's a secondary market. So Bladebinge is like an eBay.
Yep.
But very dedicated to knives. I don't know how they vet the sellers and the buyers. But that is where I would sell knives if I were to sell knives.
I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think that they like guarantee it. So
Do they?
like if you get burned, Bladebinge, they guarantee the sale in one way or the other where you won't lose your money.
That's cool.
Which is kind of cool.
It's solid.
Yeah.
I like it. Next on the list, we have a pocket dump. And you actually saw this pocket dump before we started today.
Yes, I did. I actually helped pick this pocket dump.
So this is from Ronald Fish Wilson. And actually, do you know what's funny? Now that I see his name in his face, this is one of our Knafs employees'
Oh, that's amazing.
husband,
Okay,
which is great. Hi, Ron. Okay, so here's what Ron had in his pocket.
Dude, I love this. Like,
Why do you love this?
Okay, I love this because it's real.
Yeah.
There's no flex. There's no pretension here. It's literally like, here is my gas station lighter. Here's my beeswax. I don't even know if it's like, what's the beeswax brand usually?
I know.
You know, like the one that everybody has.
Burt's Bees.
Burt's Bees. It's not even. I don't even think it's Burt's Bees. It's just beeswax, right?
I love it.
And then like it's like the beard comb. Of course, he's got a sweet knife.
He's got a Lander one with chroma scales on it. He's rigged it for left-handed carry.
Exactly, which is super rad. And then it looks like earbuds.
I think those are earbuds.
Earbuds, and then some sort of looks like portable charger, probably.
If those aren't earbuds, I'm gonna hope that they're like the airplane like key or something.
Yeah,
like,
something rad, right?
To the Batmobile.
Yeah. it's to the Batmobile. So earpods or Batmobile key, either way, I just love that it's simple and it's what actually came out of his pocket. It's also useful. That's the other thing that's great about it. You know?
I love that it's one of our employees' husbands.
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
That's like market penetration, right?
Yeah,
like,
I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Like we're winning there.
Right.
Thank you, Ron. I love that. All right, moving on to the next segment, we have the Ship Shape Sharpening Shop. Let's go there. Welcome to the Ship Shape Sharpening Shop, where we show you knives that came into the shop for sharpening. This is a Piranha Excalibur made in Twin Falls, Idaho. Little USA-made auto, OTF. Kind of fun. They always do these interesting patterns on the aluminum. Haven't seen a Piranha in a lot of years, so kind of fun there. And then another auto, the classic Benchmade CLA. Now this one is a little grimy. You got to give it a little wrist flick to open, but kind of fun to see that one. Beautiful design from the folks over at Benchmade in Oregon City, Oregon. Now this one, I also thought, this is all in the same batch, so whoever brought these in, nicely done. This is the Brothers of Bushcraft Fieldcraft, and this is a great knife. I've actually done a lot of filming with this one, designed by a lot of brothers in bushcraft, including Joe Flowers and the local guy here in Utah. Fun to see this one come through. Solid offering from Tops. That's the Ship Shape Sharpening Shop for this week. And coming back, we're gonna go to Edge of Intelligence, where we let AI tell us what to do, although today, we're gonna do it slightly different.
I hate rules and being told what to do.
I know, and so therefore you have a book recommendation for me and for the good people at home.
This is my rec to everybody out there. This is called The Loop. This is an amazing book. Another thing I do on the road is pick up books as I'm traveling, of course. So this guy actually, he's a tech writer. He's been a tech writer for like 2 decades, 3 decades. Of course. And he wrote this before ChatGPT launched, but he wrote it in anticipation of AI in our lives. So literally like 2 months before ChatGPT released.
2022.
Yeah, like literally right on the edge. So the book is written really interestingly because it's not written under the influence of what we've seen AI has done. It's written under the influence of him talking to experts and what he was worried but the potentials of AI. You know, he gets caught up in his bias every once in a while. His similes aren't perfect, but I think it is the best book. And I've read over a dozen books on AI at this point. I think it's one of the best ones I've read as far as just entry level, here's how to think about AI and algorithms in general, right? Which I know you guys just talked about Instagram, right?
We always talk about the algorithm.
Yeah. So I highly recommend this to anybody.
It's a lovely color.
Yeah,
good
lovely
font
color.
choice with Avenir.
Yeah.
I respect that.
I love it. Not the best book ever written, but the information is stellar.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I think we don't appreciate fully. I mean, even some of you may be watching this video because of AI, a recommendation. Like.
Yep, algorithms and AI.
And we're sitting here talking about knives, oldest tool, and you're hearing about it because of some programmer's alchemy.
Yeah, machine learning, quantum computing.
Yeah.
You know,
it's crazy.
It's wild.
It is crazy. Okay, we are on to the mailbox. Okay, coming into the mailbag, we were just joking because I know this is a TJ Schwartz knife. I'm going to hand it to Zach to talk about because I can't even remember the name.
All right, so this is the Confidant.
The Confidant.
Yeah, absolutely awesome knife.
You've been in his shop within the last year, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We went and saw his process. It was just awesome. It was awesome. And the really cool thing is...
Wait, you saw his process?
Oh, I saw his process.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you saw his product?
I saw his product.
And his process?
And his process.
Oh, we love TJ.
It's so good. It's so good. So yeah, obviously full tang Magna Cut. You've got G10 removable scales. And it's, skeletonized inside. And then you've got your Kydex sheath. Now, this is actually Jamie's knife.
It is.
So Jamie has been drooling over this knife for a long time. So he finally picked one up, bought it from TJ. So this is Jamie's exact configuration. He didn't put the clip on. It does come with a clip. But I believe Jamie's planning on putting this in his backpack and using it as a hunting knife.
Yeah.
Because this is a really great hunting
That's what
knife.
Jamie does.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the fact that we have a knife brand here, Knafs, where we get stuff in. I mean, my employee, Jamie, bought TJ's knife, and we get to talk about it on the show.
Yeah, it's so great.
I don't know if that's good for business or not, but honestly, like, TJ's a friend. I love it. So I get excited about stuff like this.
And he makes great knives.
He does.
I mean, the Overland is such a stellar fixed
And dang
blade.
it, he's a good human.
And he's a great human.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you talked about buying knives from good humans. TJ's stellar.
Cherry on top of the cake right there.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
By the way, he and Burnley, who we already talked about. They have a podcast that doesn't get enough love, so I'm going to use this mailbag to shout out the Edge and Flow podcast on Spotify.
Yep.
If you want to hear two very smart people talk about smart topics related to knives and manufacturing, highly recommend.
Well, and I was just in Burnley shop, right?
Yeah.
I was just in Burnley shop.
I feel like you were just in everyone's shop.
Yeah,
Like you
kind
have
of.
literally been everywhere.
I'm kind of trying to be everywhere
Yes.
and nowhere at the same time.
Yes.
But I was just in Burnley shop, and here's the thing that's so beautiful is Burnley is so like heart and creative, and TJ is so like technical and creative that when you listen to the podcast, when you see those two dudes get together, dude, it's magic. Like it's so fun. And Burnley has TJ quotes up in his shop.
Really?
And like seeing how TJ has influenced Burnley, I'm excited because I'm going to see
interesting.
TJ soon. Seeing how Burnley's influenced TJ, you know.
I almost feel like, and this is not to insult either one of them, I almost feel like Burnley and TJ, Burnley is like a scarlet macaw bird
Okay.
that's just like full of color and like all of this stuff.
Right.
And TJ is like a bald eagle.
Yep.
And you're like watching them fly together and you're like, what are those two birds? Like,
Exactly.
can they do that? I really enjoy it. It's
Yeah.
because it's two people that are very interesting individually, but you put them together and it's like you almost can't stop watching it.
Yep.
So
Agreed.
props to them.
Agreed.
Someday I'll make it to Burnley's shop.
Dude, it's a good time. It's a good time.
I love it. Next on the list, we got Mailbox from the internets. Are you ready for this first one?
I'm really excited for this first one.
So
So I feel like I owe somebody an apology, even though I didn't know I owed somebody an apology. So let's dive in.
So there I was. And it's worth noting that today we have our sidewalk sale.
Yeah.
Like literally right after this, we're doing a sidewalk sale. So Austin is busy doing that. I announced the sidewalk sale yesterday on my Instagram.
Yeah.
And this fellow, he said, hey, Zach, or Zach.
With with no K and then with a K. Yeah.
Hey, Zach, or Zach, you quit us. Go and stay gone.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a Mufasa moment.
Run away, Simba. Run. Run away and never return.
You know, like,
it feels well. And here, can we go to the next level?
yes.
So the next level of that is I saw it from the Work Sharp in the Wild account, right?
Yeah.
But you had tagged the Zach in the Wild, so I was like, oh, cool. I'll log into the Zach in the Wild
Yeah.
and I'll comment as Zach in the Wild. I saw his comment as Work Sharp in the Wild. I did not see it as Zach in the Wild.
So he's blocked you.
Meaning he blocked me. I don't know who this guy is. Maybe
Dude, he's Mufasa,
maybe
and
I've
you're
talked-
Simba.
That must be it. That must
He's
be
like,
it.
you killed your father. Go and stay gone.
Let's take off. Very Hamlet. Very Hamlet. Anyways, so you know who you are. I won't say your username. You know who you are. Sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. Whatever I did, I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sorry.
Well, and I think it's worth just mentioning briefly. You started out in the knife industry
Yep.
at another company.
Yep.
You started a YouTube channel.
Yep.
You're doing Work Sharp in the Wild now.
Yep.
It's not that dissimilar from what people like I've done.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
I started at Blade HQ, went to CRKT, went back to Blade HQ, started my own company.
Yep.
Like people move around, so I don't know.
This is the longest I've been in the same house with
Yeah.
with a career employment or anything. I bounce around a lot.
But
so.
saying you quit us, that feels.
Yeah. And being blocked, so I feel bad. Sorry, bud. So
Yeah.
take my apology.
Can you make a knife called the Mufasa?
Oh, that'd be really cool. that'd be really
love
cool.
Next, we have Alexander Poserick. Congrats on the new series. It's nice to see Austin back after a long time. With your and Zach's content, you can really remember why we all used to love BHQ videos. It'd be nice to invoke Kurt as well. I did invite Kurt. Someday, I think we'll have him on.
I think
for
you
our
meant
show.
invoke.
Invoke.
Because
How do you-
the O could be an I or the T could be a K.
How do you invoke Kurt?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that like candles?
First step, you've got to grow a beard. Okay, first step, Ben's got to have a beard, right? And then candles, definitely candles. Yeah,
and
probably like cook bacon.
Well, I think it's like a honey baked ham.
Yes.
In the middle of the candles.
That's what it is.
then-
But a beard.
And then Kurt
Yes.
appears.
And then Kurt appears. Yeah, that's how you invoke Kurt.
Anyway, I appreciate comments like this because you know what we do as internet people is challenging. So keep up the great work and thank you for entertaining us. That stuff warms my little heart.
Means a lot.
We asked in one of our last episodes how long is Instagram going to be around.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Cardillo says Instagram has at least another 15 to 20 years before it becomes about as relevant as MySpace. Did you have a MySpace?
No, I have not.
I almost did. I almost came this close to having a MySpace.
I did not have social media until I needed it for work. And I
Wow.
still to this day I only use social media for work.
Yeah.
I'm not friends with anybody that it doesn't do with work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Instagram's fun. YouTube social is fun. It's the
I think Instagram's got 3 years.
You say 3 years.
I think 3 years until Instagram is MySpace. Facebook is almost already MySpace for a generation.
Sure.
Right? For younger millennials and Gen Z, Facebook is dead. Completely dead to
for
them.
sure.
Yeah. But I think Instagram, maybe 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah. And that depends on if
It
another...
was like $1 billion acquisition. How could it die?
No. Yeah. Every
love it.
empire dies, dude.
I love it. Next on the list, we are going to do field trip and head outside. What are we looking at, Zach?
All right, so guys, this is the Toyota Tacoma that Oregon Truck and Auto Authority out of Medford, Oregon, and Worksharp built for me, which is pretty sweet. So I'm doing all the Quest stuff
They built it for you.
from this rig. Yeah, they built
Amazing.
it for me. They built it for me. It's pretty cool. So, but they just recently added something really sweet, and it allowed me to bring you guys a little something that I'm really excited about. It's got the fancy split tailgate.
Look at this thing. Dude, you're riding in style.
Dude, it's pretty sweet. It's
cool.
pretty sweet. Yeah. I still haven't slept in the tent, but Ricky has from the Best Damn EDC channel.
I love
So,
Ricky.
Ricky, right at you, buddy. All right, so this is part of it. You have to hold that.
Holding now.
Okay, so when I was...
I like where this is headed.
Actually, fun story. When I was with Taylor at Best Damn EDC, he's got a fridge in the back of his fancy little build. So the guys over at Oda, they were like, well, we can't not have a fridge.
Amazing.
So not only is it a fridge, it's also a freezer. And I don't know if you know this, Ben. Jamie does, so hopefully Jamie's getting excited right now. But in Pleasant Grove, Utah,
Okay.
there's a little place called Taco Amigo.
I love it
Okay.
already.
And every year, they make fresh strawberry shakes. And they are the best strawberry shakes you can get.
I love where this is headed.
So
Tell me more.
I brought you guys in my freezer, in my truck. What is it? Was it like 100 out right now? Here's a fresh strawberry shake, dude. All the way from Pleasant Grove, Utah.
Cheers.
Jamie, I got you one. So there's that.
This is amazing, dude.
And then
this is amazing.
I know Austin's not with us right now, but Austin, I got you one too. So
Dude, this is amazing. Thank you.
yeah.
I love this.
Yeah,
I love all of this, and it's cold. I mean, this is.
yeah, I hopefully said it just right where it'd be
No, it is-
not
it-
melted but still
It
cold,
feels like it came out of the machine.
but not frozen. That was my
Yes.
goal. That was my because this will freeze them. This will freeze them. So,
Love it.
anyways,
Dude, while
that's what I brought
we're
you
here,
guys.
what's in? Is this an accordion? What is this? What is this?
All right, so if you guys are following along on the Work Sharp in the Wild page, you'll notice that I wear basically only two hats. I wear my Knafs hat, because it's a stellar hat, and I got friends over there. And then I also have this Burns Saddlery custom-made
Which is amazing.
hat here. This is the hat that I do all the hikes, all the adventures, everything is in this bad boy. And this is custom made by Burns Saddlery. Burns Saddlery, let me look at the date. They've been making tack and stuff in Utah since 1876. Both my grandpas had saddles from them, so yeah.
I think that's cool, but could you get that and an accordion? Like, that would be tops.
I feel like, yeah, like if I had this on and then the accordion, right?
Yes,
Like, yeah, that'd be
yes.
pretty sweet. That'd be pretty sweet.
I love it.
So, since this is a very, very nice hat, and the nicest hat I've ever owned by a far margin, I also got it a little hat case.
It's amazing.
I don't want to crush it.
It's amazing. I love it.
So yeah,
I love it.
anyways.
Zach, thank you for the shakes.
Of course.
Thank you for the tour.
Yeah.
Back to the desk. All right, next on the list we have bottom of the barrel, where we look at ourselves and say what hasn't sold this week and we bring it out of the barrel. This one is the Lander 1 with solar flare scales. Now the fun part about this one is we only made 50 of these in black. The scales are made in California by Squid Industries, by our
cool.
friend Lucas.
I love Lucas. Good guy.
So Lucas is like, I can make scales for you. And we're like, well, let's go. So it's actually on S35. So if you want a Lander 1 with an upgraded steel, this is a great one. This is number 19 of 50.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
there it is.
And there's another cherry on top of a cake.
I love cake and cherries and shakes. By the way, we didn't film ourselves eating those shakes that you gave us.
But we did eat them before.
But they gone.
Yeah.
They were delicious.
Right? I didn't hype it too much, right?
No,
I mean,
it was
an incredible.
An amazing shake.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Last on the list, we have Fresh Prints. Now, Fresh Prints is where we show you something that we have 3D printed. This week, check this out, Zach.
Dude, I was looking at these, man.
So today we have all of the. We just launched a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
These are all of the prototypes. This is our iterative process. So we basically went from whatever this is, kind of an ugly looking fixed blade,
Yeah.
to the final version right there.
I'm not gonna lie to you. V2, I think, is probably the worst one though.
Well, so here's why we were playing with the V2. So
Yeah.
it was this idea of we're gonna have a lanyard on this thing, and so You can get away with a smaller handle
Fair.
if you have a lanyard, but that's like a solid 3-finger grip.
Yeah, and that's like for a medium-sized hand, right?
Yeah, I'm definitely a medium.
Yeah.
So we looked at that and we were like, nah, brah, it's got to change. So V3 got a little bigger.
Yeah.
V4, I don't know what that is. V1 of something, but
Right.
it's kind of fun. And then you end up with the CAD from the manufacturer. In this case, this is coming from Kaiser.
Cool.
And it's just fun to see the iterations. We use 3D printing like crazy in the development of our products.
Yeah.
And we're enthusiasts about it. Like literally something walks in our shop every day that's like we're standing in the shop and there's a 3D printed vise.
Yeah, I actually saw that. It was so cool.
And it's
so
super cool,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
also like we use it for very practical things like product design. And then this one you can see turned into our what are we going to call this? Sheep's foot. That's what we'll call it. Our sheepsy warnsy.
I love it. Yeah.
Our sheepy. We called this the Black Sheep Edition because we added it late.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's going to have a black micarta handle.
Love it.
Anyway,
Love it.
if you like fixed blades for EDC, back our Kickstarter.
Dude,
that's what we're doing.
It's a cool little fixed blade.
Yeah.
It's a really cool little fixed
You know,
blade.
we've had fun with it. I used to be a True Confessions at the end of the show here.
Yeah.
True Confessions. I used to be a never EDC a fixed blade guy.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
But you know what's changed it, and I don't have one on the table, is Ulti clips.
Yep.
Ulti clips are a game changer for carrying a fixed blade because you can basically put it in the same spot that your pocket knife would be. So if you're going to EDC a fixed blade, I almost feel like an Ulti clip is a requirement. It's a must.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, and that's where so many EDC fixed blades fail is the pocket test.
Yeah.
Like, if I can't put an EDC fixed blade in my pocket, it's going to be
Right.
for backpacking, camping, something else.
So I literally just went backpacking with the Lulu.
Yeah.
This is not a great in-pocket EDC fixed blade.
I'd agree.
You throw it on your pack.
Yep, exactly.
That's easy peasy. But if you're out in the wild, if you're Zach in the wild, work sharp in the wild.
I do get wild.
You do. If you're out, if you're in an urban environment, I don't know that you want to be EDCing a fixed blade on your hip.
Yeah, and for me, it's both aesthetics, right?
Yep.
It's like, project. It's the same thing with guys that like, certain ways you can carry other types of things,
Sure.
right? On the outside or on the inside. It's just flashy, right? It's just
flashy.
like, look at this, and it's like, I'm not that guy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
for sure. And so it's been interesting because we have designed it with the idea of being an in-pocket EDC knife.
Love it.
So, Zach, I have one last question before we close up this show.
Yeah.
I was talking to a new friend.
Okay.
He's a backpacker.
Okay.
He's watched a lot of your stuff.
Okay, cool.
And he was like, why does Zach carry Knipex pliers?
Oh, okay.
He said he always shows them in his pocket dumps, but what does he do with them? So here we are.
I always have.
I heard they're pronounced Knipex.
Knipex. Technically, they're pronounced Knipex.
And I have heard this
in the Queen's English.
I've heard this from other people. In fact, I have seen a video thumbnail.
Yeah.
Where somebody is like, hey, this is stupid. Why are people carrying these?
Yep. Well, and here's the thing.
And I know you and I have an answer to this question, but I want to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah. So for me, and this is the thing, and if you watch my stuff, you'll hear me say a lot, like not a lot. Some of what I carry is not for everybody. Yeah. It's not. Your EDC should not be based off of somebody you've seen on Instagram or somebody you see on YouTube. Your EDC should be on what you need in your daily life. Yeah. If you can get through life with a pen and a pocket knife and maybe like a little Victorinox, like an SD Classic, don't do it. Yeah. Like, you don't need to carry one of these just because you saw somebody carry one, right? Yeah. So for me, I ride a lot of old motorcycles. I drive in a lot of old cars. I try to be generally handy wherever I go, right? To help people out and do things like that. So for me, what I found is I was carrying around a Leatherman Wave a lot, right? Yeah. And I found that the limitation of Leatherman Wave was I regularly needed something that could do nuts and bolts well, right? So then I added a crescent wrench, right? Yeah. And then I discovered the Knipex, and I'm like, wait a minute. Between my Victorinox Compact and a Knipex, I can get rid of the Leatherman and the crescent wrench and do everything else that I was already doing better, right? Because I just don't cut a lot of wire. Yeah. Again, I just carry what I need and need what I carry, right? So that's why I carry the Knipex, is I just found for nuts and bolts and for how often I'm encountering nuts and bolts, I found it to just be indispensable. I would say that I probably use these, on average, I probably use these things 3 to 4 times a week, maybe up to 5, depending on what I'm doing. Sometimes that's laziness. I'm in my shop. I have them in my pocket. I don't want to go to the other side of the shop and get something. A lot of times, I'm on the road or I'm at somebody's house helping with a project.
I love it.
That's why I carry them.
Have you considered a Leatherman squirt?
Yeah, I heard they're so good. They discontinued them. They're so good.
Dude, look at the size comparison.
Have you considered a Victorinox Compact? But
Zach,
that won't do nuts and bolts though. So
Zach, thank you for being on.
Of course.
I
Thanks
love
for having
the
me.
conversation. It is fun to have you here. It's fun to see what you're doing now. I'm stoked because it's always an adventure. Like, you and I chat about what comes next, and you're like, yeah, I don't know.
no idea.
And that to me is an exciting life that I don't think I could handle mentally. But I get excited to have like these interactions where you stop by. So thank you for that. Guys, if you have questions for Zach, leave them in the comments. I'll do the best to answer them for him because we know he'll never answer them himself.
Hey, I'll jump in. I'll jump in.
I love it. Guys, if you like this kind of content where we talk knives, where we do things like this, definitely subscribe to the channel. We are working to put out a video every single week, which is exhausting and terrifying, but we're going for it. So definitely subscribe, give this video a like. We'll see you next week. Okay, what do we got here? We got the TJ Schwartz Comrade?
Confidant.
Comrade? Isn't there a knife called... No, Kaiser.
Maybe you should talk about it.
Kaiser has a Comrade.
It's the cormorant, Ben, not the cormorant.
Cormorant?
The Krimmergrung.
The Comrade? Ricky, this should never see the light of day.